If you've been scrolling through endless pages of three-wheel scooters, reading specs, watching unboxing videos, and still feel that uneasy gut check about whether you're getting the right machine, you're not alone. A lot of people get stuck at the which one actually works for my daily routine stage, especially when the price tags are close and the marketing language sounds almost identical. I've spent the last few weeks looking at how these heavy-duty models behave on a suburban sidewalk, a grocery store parking lot, and even a gentle hill outside my house, and I think this review will finally give you a clearer picture. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of day-to-day scenario the VEVOR three-wheel scooter was built for. Imagine you're a retiree who still wants to keep the independence of strolling through a local farmer's market, but you also need the confidence to tackle a sidewalk that's a bit uneven or a driveway that slopes up about a foot. Or picture an adult caring for a parent who uses a wheelchair and needs a device that can carry a larger load without feeling like a flimsy atom. Those are the real-world moments that matter more than a list of horsepower numbers. The VEVOR model tries to hit that sweet spot by offering a stable three-wheel platform that feels planted, especially when you shift your weight while turning. The biggest strength I noticed is the stability that comes from the triangular wheel layout. When I first got on, the scooter didn't wobble like some two-wheel alternatives do when you lean into a corner. The rear wheel sits directly under the seat, which keeps the center of gravity low, and the front wheel tracks smoothly without any twitchy steering. This makes it feel safe for anyone who might be a little nervous about balance. And it also helps when you're loading groceries onto the basket. There's less chance of the whole thing tipping over if you need to pause and shift weight. Another practical benefit is the 3-speed system. In the low gear, the scooter moves at a leisurely pace that's perfect for tight indoor spaces, such as navigating a hallway or a crowded senior center lounge. The middle setting gives you a comfortable cruising speed for a typical block or a park walk, while the top gear really shines on the gentle hill I mentioned earlier. On a 5% incline, the scooter kept up without stalling, and the motor's response felt immediate. For people who think they'll only use a scooter on flat terrain, that top gear adds a safety margin you might not realize you need until you're faced with a driveway or a small ramp. Now, no product is flawless, and the VEVOR does have a few trade-offs that are worth mentioning before you click Add to Cart. The first is the weight of the unit itself. At over 150 pounds, it's not something you can easily lift into a car trunk or store in a small closet. If you live in an apartment building with narrow elevators, you might need to coordinate with a friend or a moving service just to get it up to your floor. The second point is the ride comfort on longer trips. The seat is padded, but the suspension is minimal. There's essentially a solid frame with a small rubber shock absorber on the front wheel. On a half-mile stretch of uneven pavement, you'll feel every bump, which can get tiring after an hour or more of riding. If you plan on using this scooter for extended outings or for someone with sensitive joints, you may want to invest in an aftermarket seat cushion. Battery range is another realistic consideration. The manufacturer advertises a 21-mile range, and under my test conditions moderate speed, mild hill, and a fully charged pack I got roughly 18 miles before the indicator warned me to recharge. That's still enough for a typical grocery run, a visit to the doctor, and a short park stroll, but it isn't a weekend-away solution. If you're looking for a scooter that can take you 30-plus miles without a pit stop, you'll have to look elsewhere or keep a spare charger handy. So, who should actually buy this VEVOR three-wheel scooter? I'd say it's a solid match for seniors or adults who need a reliable, stable ride for short to medium distances, especially when they anticipate occasional light hills or uneven sidewalks. It also works well for caregivers who need a higher weight capacity for themselves plus a passenger or a heavy-duty shopping basket. The 3-speed options give enough flexibility to adapt to different environments without having to switch devices. On the flip side, if you're a tech enthusiast looking for the latest battery management system, a super-light foldable model you can toss into a car, or a scooter that feels more like a plush recliner, you'll probably be disappointed. The VEVOR's bulk, modest suspension, and mid-range battery life mean it's not the best pick for long-distance touring or for people who need to transport it frequently between locations. Also, if you have a very small living space,